Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today's session I will teach you how to teach writing. As you know that writing is one of the four skills of English language, so it's important for teachers to know how to teach them. It's not sufficient to have the mastery of the subject matter, but also you should know how to teach writing. So let's move to the second introduction. Learning to write fluently is the most difficult of the micro skills. Yes, it is among the most useful skills learners should learn and master. So here, learning to write is most difficult. It's among the most useful skills learners should learn. It means it's one of the skills that we use a lot, and that's why we should learn it and master it. Writing should be emphasized in our schools for at least the following benefits. So we should emphasize, we should give much importance to writing in our schools and our learning. Why? Writing is the practical means for fixing, for consolidating various language components. Means for writing, when we write, we make use of vocabulary we have learned, the syntax we have learned, the grammar we have learned, and so on. It is a means of reinforcing other skills. Means it's by writing we reinforce other skills like speaking, listening, and so on. So students use information gathered from reading, listening, and speaking. It is a means of it helps students develop the ability to think logically and solve problem. Yes, but when learners they master the skill of writing, they have the ability to think logically and they can solve problems, found solutions to problems. Writing then helps a lot with empowering learners, not only as language learners but also as independent intellectuals. So learners have the ability to write in the target language. Here they are not just language learners, but they are independent intellectuals. Pedagogical considerations. When we mean pedagogical here, we mean methodology, we mean how to teach it. Pedagogy, a healthy environment must be provided in every classroom for the practice of process writing. Establishing a collaborative and interactive framework means a framework that is interactive, that is collaborative, means where learners work together in a pressure-free atmosphere. So the atmosphere where learners work should be collaborative, should be interactive. They help each other, they work with each other. This is a meaningful learning. The teacher should play the role of a guide, a facilitator, and interesting. So here the role of teacher within the skill of writing. When he is teaching writing to his learners, he should be a guide, should be a facilitator, and an interested reader. The second, writing as an intensively interactive process should involve the learner and other learners and the teacher. So here it's an interactive process, and that involve these components: learner, other learners, and the teacher. The feedback and suggestions provided by other learners improve the learner's piece of writing. It means what is called peer correction, peer editing. Sometimes the learners should exchange their sheets and they correct other mistakes for each other. Now we are going to move to linguistic Considerations. This linguistic feature helps students master. So some linguistic consideration we should rely on. We should train learners on the master mechanics. They should master the mechanics, the spelling of words, punctuation, capitalization to make one's writing. So learners, when they write, should have mastery of the mechanics, the spelling of the word, the punctuation, the capitalization, in order to write a piece of writing correctly and appropriately. Give the written piece a clear text structure with an effective beginning, middle, and end. So the format should be or what learners have written should have a clear text structure. We're doing by a clear structure here, that is effective beginning, that is middle, that is an ending. So in order the reader cannot feel bored and if you're interested to read, and use cohesive design transition to organize content at the level of paragraph and the whole text effectively. So you should use cohesive devices and transitions to organize content at the level of paragraph and the whole text effectively. So we mean here linking words. When they write, should be make use of some linking words. Select an appropriate style according to audience. So the style, and also very important when we write, it should train learners on how to select the style when they write, and this is according to the audience, of course. Use variety of a sentence structure, means you should vary your sentence structures from compound, complex, active voice, passive voice, and so on. Now we are going to move to strategies to consider in writing. So some strategies or some steps that you should follow when you are teaching in writing. So students should generate ideas through pre-writing activities or pre-writing tasks like brainstorming, mapping, key, WL, charts, discussion, reading, listening notes. So all these are some pre-writing activities that we can use. Making the purpose with the audience, to inform, to communicate. So making the purpose of writing should suit the audience. So you should not the audience should when he reads, and when he find what you are writing about, should suit his interest, his needs. Writing a first draft when necessary compound a specific draft. So when you brainstorm, you move to the second stage, that is writing the first draft. When you write the first draft, you revise the first draft content, organization. So revising, you look at the organization, whether it's good or not, relevant details, clarity. Editing here, revise draft using resources or peer editing. Peer editing means with students, to exchange their papers to edit the sheet of paper of his friend. Proofread the revised draft individually or in physical. Proofreading means correcting the mistakes. Students correct their mistakes. They can work in peers, they can work in groups. Presenting a final copy, here publishing, according to the purpose and the topic of the text. Publishing, so here it's the last stage of when it's redrafting or writing the final drafts. Now let's move to process writing stages. So of course we are teaching writing using the process writing stages. So process writing stages, or the approach that we use to teach writing is the writing process. So of course, before in strategies to consider writing, I have mentioned these stages: brainstorming, drafting, editing, proofreading. So this is the stages of the process approach. The first stage which you should follow to begin with while you are adapting this approach is brainstorming. You brainstorm the student about the topic or gathering ideas. You should brainstorm. Planning. Within planning, you organize your ideas. Here you organize the ideas that you have brainstormed, what you are going to say in the beginning, what you are going to say in the middle, what you are going to say in the end. Drafting. Here, after you have brainstormed, you have blend, you move to the second stage, third stage, that is drafting. Students write their first drafts. So here, students, they write the first draft. What do we by the first draft? It's not the final draft. This draft, it will be edited, it will be revised, it will be proofreaded, peer edited. So students exchange copies for the tradition of improvement by their peers. They can exchange their papers. Preparing the final version. So students take into account their peers' suggestions and remarks to write the final version. So students take into account their peers' suggestions and remarks to write the final version. When they exchange their papers and each one get his paper, they take into account the remarks of his friend, his colleague, or his peer, with his friend, in order to write the final draft or the final version. Successful revision can be practiced individually with or without the teacher's feedback, or via the effective use of proofreading. Conclusion. Now let's move to concluding our session of today. That is the session in which you have learned how to teach writing to your students. So this is just to maximize your teaching practices. This is to maximize learners' performance, learners, in order to maximize students' learning, and also this will have an effect on your teaching practices, and it will have also an effect on students' learning. The principles of a writing approach can be summarized as follows. Writing is a generative process whereby learners discover and formulate the ideas as they attempt to construct meaning. Writing is strategic, problem solving, and the key skill of communication. It's also an area where what is linguistic congruent, what is cognitive, rhetoric, and culture. While training learners in this process, some further practice at the level of mechanics and accuracy should be also done to contribute into problem the piece of writing. To raise learners' consciousness to how different text structures and genres are organized, a lot of reading, listening, discussion are needed. Train learners to write effectively is a gradual process. So teacher might choose to train learners to write a paragraph before exposing them to more challenging writing tasks. You cannot teach learners how to write an essay without teaching them how to write a paragraph or how to write sentence. So of course it's a gradual process. So of course this is the session of today in which you have learned how to write in English. I hope you joined my session and you have learned how to write in English, how to teach writing. Thank you, and